Hello everyone, today we are going to be covering the new line of phones that Samsung has released called the Galaxy S20, Galaxy S20 Plus, and the Galaxy S20 Ultra. In this video, I want to do a comparison of features so that you know what the difference is, because I've already gotten a lot of people stopping me at work asking me what is the difference between these phones. So let's start with the screen size. The Galaxy S20 has a 6.2-inch front screen. The Galaxy S20 Plus has a 6.7-inch screen, and the Galaxy S20 Ultra has a 6.9-inch screen. On top of the screen sizes, the notch that is on the side of the phone in previous models has actually been moved to this little bitty tiny dot in the middle of the phone. And if you follow tech at all, you know that OnePlus has done this for the past several models of their phone. Now, this might actually break the trend of everyone copying Apple with their flagship models, and everyone might be moving and copying another successor. All of the phones do have 120Hz Quad HD display. As well as the display itself, it's not as curved as the previous models. They've actually flattened it out a whole lot, and Samsung really didn't say anything about that. They just kind of changed the form factor a little bit. You still got that curve on the edge, but it's not as pronounced as it usually is. Bigger screens, better screens. You're gonna have to have a better battery to accommodate for all of this screen time, and that's exactly what Samsung has done. In the S20, they have a 4,000 milliamp battery. In the S20 Plus, they have a 4,500 milliamp battery. And in the S20 Ultra, which has intense upgraded specs that we're going to get to in a minute, they have a 5,000 milliamp battery. As far as the RAM, I did want to note that all of the phones do start out at 12 gigabytes of RAM, except for the S20 Ultra that has the option for 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is kind of ridiculous in itself, but you know what? If you gotta have it, you gotta have it. If you want lightning speeds, you get lightning speeds. And since we're getting into the upgraded specs of this, the main portion of this video, I do want to talk a lot about the camera, since it is the main selling point of the phone itself. Now, I am going to be talking about the S20 and S20 Plus separately from the S20 Ultra, because the specs are completely different when we're talking about the camera. So let's go ahead and get started with the S20 and S20 Plus. Starting with S20 and S20 Plus, the main camera has a 12 megapixel camera sensor with an f-stop of 1.8. It also has a 64 megapixel camera with 3 times the zoom at f-stop of 2.0. And it has a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle sensor with a f-stop of 2.2. Now, all of this is pretty standard except for the 64 megapixel 3 times zoom. I do like that the megapixels have been bumped up, hopefully for better quality on this, but we're about to get into something with the video aspect of this that's not only going to blow your mind, but it still blows mine, and I want to see test footage of this and have test footage of this once this comes out. The video on this camera shoots 8K. The only drawback that I can tell as of right now, just from seeing this, the 8K only shoots at the 64 megapixel camera lens, which means that in order to get this crispy quality video, you have to have that 3 times zoom in order to get that. Some people aren't going to really care about that. It's not really going to make a big difference to them. However, if you need an ultra wide angle shot with a high quality, you're not going to get 8K with anything else. You're going to have a cropped in zoom sensor. So now let's move on to the S20 Ultra camera specs, which is absolutely ridiculous in and of itself. The S20 Ultra camera has a 108 megapixel sensor for the main camera with an f-stop of 1.8. It has a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle sensor with an f-stop of 2.2. And it has a 48 megapixel 10 times zoom with an f-stop of 3.5. So one of the things that I really want to know, especially with talking about this 8K video, is how is it going to look on the S20 Ultra, especially if you're going to be able to use it with that 108 megapixel sensor not cropped. That is going to be amazing, and that's going to be a game changer for any phone going into 2020, because now Samsung has set the bar so high with this camera that everyone's going to have to step up their game. I'm not entirely sure Apple is even going to beat this. Now, last but not least, let's talk about something everyone can kind of get behind, and that is the price and the colors of the phone that you can get. So starting off with the colors, you can get the Cosmic Gray, Cosmic Black, Cloud Blue, and Cloud Pink. Now, these are very standard play it safe colors for Samsung. Most people are probably going to get the black or the gray anyway, so I'm not even wanting a color other than that, but I was kind of expecting Samsung to come out with a very similar color to the midnight green because it was so popular when Apple released it. I'm still waiting on a midnight green Apple Watch, but this is a Samsung video, so I guess we'll keep going. So now let's talk about the price of these phones, which is really high. It's kind of ridiculous because I was expecting them to be a little bit lower, especially on the consumer end, because I know that Samsung is usually a little bit more consumer friendly and they don't have as high of a premium price point. So the S20 is just like $1 under $1,000 at $999. The S20 Plus is just a hair under $1,200, coming in at $1,199. And the S20 Ultra, which is a little bit more ridiculous of a price point to me, is about $1,300. The only thing I will say is, if that 8K looks as good as I think it's going to, then that $1,300 might actually be worth it, especially if you're using a 108 megapixel sensor. But we're really just going to have to see how these test videos play out long term, which is something that a lot of people are going to be looking for and excited about. So what I'm interested to hear from you all is, what do you think Samsung is lacking in this department? Instead of your most excited feature that I always ask about, I want to know a feature that you're either not excited about or you wanted these phones to have and they don't. Please put that down in the comments below, because I have been responding to my comments very intensely, I guess you could say, furiously. I'm not really sure. Also, let me know if you like the setup, because tech news is actually going to be a big thing that I'm pushing toward on this channel. It's going to have its own mini series that I'm going to pop up with every single once in a while. If you're new here, I do a lot of product reviews, Apple videos, updates on all of my products. And also be sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video and hit that bell to be notified when you post a video. And by you, I mean me. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much. I will see you in next week's video, which I am also very excited about. Peace.